Why would I report it? I'm not even sure it was abuse.
Child abuse is a criminal offence and is any action by another person that causes harm to a child. Abuse can be sexual, physical, emotional or neglect, and it can happen anywhere in any setting. Children may be abused within a family or institutional setting by those known to them or by a stranger. Abusers can be any person of any gender and come from all walks of life. Sexual abuse can involve physical contact and can also happen online. Physical abuse is causing physical harm to a child or young person, including hitting, shaking, throwing, poisoning, burning, drowning or suffocating. Emotional abuse occurs when a child or young person experiences emotional maltreatment or neglect. It can cause serious harm and can have long-term effects. Neglect is the ongoing failure to meet a child or young person's basic needs. It's dangerous and can cause serious and long-term harm.
Why would I report it? They wouldn't take me seriously.
Police Scotland treats all reports of childhood abuse seriously. We are fully committed to thoroughly investigating child abuse, no matter where or when this happened or who was involved.
Why would I report it? It was my fault.
Abusers often instill a belief in the child that the abuse is their fault. Survivors are not to blame for the abuse they experienced during childhood.
I couldn't report it. I'm scared my abuser would come after me.
When you report childhood abuse to Police Scotland, your safety, welfare and well-being are our first priority. We also want to identify the person who may pose a risk to children and protect you and anyone else who may be at risk of harm. Your report may also lead to your abuser being brought to justice.
I couldn't report it. It would be like reliving the trauma all over again.
Police Scotland understands that not every person may feel ready or able to speak about the abuse they have experienced in childhood. There are agencies who can support you to report to police. If you're not ready to report, we can let you know about relevant support services when you feel ready.
If I did want to report it, where would I start?
If you need an urgent response from the police or other emergency services, call 999. Otherwise, you can report abuse to Police Scotland in a number of ways. Call 101. You'll be asked for certain information, but won't be asked to disclose specific details of the abuse. You can request that police attend at a time, date and location that suits you. Alternatively, you can go to a police station to report the abuse you experienced. You can always discuss your options with a police officer before deciding whether to make a formal report. Dedicated support and advocacy services can help you to decide which option is best for you and accompany you to a police station. British Sign Language users can contact Police Scotland directly with the help of an online sign language interpreter from Contact Scotland BSL. Follow the British Sign Language link on the Contact Us page of the Police Scotland website.
What happens if English isn't my first language?
If it's difficult for you to understand or speak English, you can request an interpreter. They can help you understand and answer questions or information you're being given. You can also view the Adult Survivors of Childhood Abuse page on Police Scotland's website by selecting the language you require.
What happens after I make a report to police?
A trained police officer will speak with you and note a statement at your own pace. If you are a survivor of sexual abuse, you can choose to speak to an officer of whichever gender you feel most comfortable with. Every effort will be made to meet your request.
Can I have someone with me when I speak to the police?
Yes, you can choose to have a friend, family member or other support person with you to support you before, during and after your statement has been taken, provided that person is not a significant witness in the case.
Can I make a report to police if my abuser is now dead?
Yes. Police Scotland will still investigate your report to ensure that no one still alive is involved in any abuse. Information will be recorded on police systems. It's important to highlight, though, the people who are deceased can't be reported to the Crown Office and Procurator Fiscal Service. We'll aim to keep you updated and reassured at every stage of the inquiry. As part of our investigation, we may have to speak to other people who have been named or identified. We'll consider your needs and work with partner agencies to try to ensure those needs are met.
What happens to the personal information I give to police?
Police Scotland understands how important it is to protect people's privacy and has published an information charter. This sets out the standards you can expect when we request or hold your information.
Will the offender go to court?
The police will gather all information, and if there is sufficient evidence, a report will be submitted to the Crown Office and Procurator Fiscal Service. If it's decided not to make a report, we'll explain why. The Crown Office and Procurator Fiscal Service are responsible for prosecuting crime in Scotland. They will consider the case and decide if it will go to court. The Victim Information and Advice Service is provided by the Crown Office and Procurator Fiscal Service and provides information and advice to victims of crime, including survivors of childhood abuse. They will also consult and advise you on the appropriate special measures for your evidence.
What happens if the case goes to court?
If the case goes to court, you may have to give evidence. Staff from the Victim Information and Advice Service at the Crown Office and Procurator Fiscal Service will speak to you about the support you may need to help you give evidence. This can include a visit to court before trial. You may also be entitled to special measures to support you while you give evidence. Special measures include having a supporter with you, being able to give your evidence without having to see the accused, and having your evidence recorded in advance of the trial.
Now that I understand the process, I can make an informed choice about whether I want to report what happened to me. Even if I'm not ready now, there are support services who can help.
I did report it. It was good to be listened to be acknowledged as a survivor of abuse. Most of all, I feel my abuser was brought to justice, and this prevented them from harming anyone else. I feel like I'm back in control now, and with help from support services, I'm ready to get on with my life.